1 week later.
Stop it. Get some help.
Blizzard is absolutely defined by the passion of Blizzard employees, all of whom have their unique talents.
It's pretty obvious that gameplay first isn't their priority anymore, neither Activision nor Blizzard, and since many years now. So why are we still buying their games? And let's explain why does it seem so hard to try the alternatives of their games, the concurrents, like PoE or FFF or any other MMO. Let's explain those before telling how we can get a good Blizzard game in the future. Blizzard have built great universes with great artistic direction. They have a lot of potential for deep lore, epic cinematics, and brutal action. And they put much effort displaying it on their epic cinematics or their marketing campaign. Those make you really want to get and participate in those epic adventures. They also use a very old but cute strategy that I'm sure you remember with nostalgia like I do, is the ad with celebrities, especially on WoW. You remember Mr. T's ads or Ozzy Osbourne and all those ads we had in our childhood, right? Well, they still do it, not on MMO players per se, but much more on Call of Duty ones right now. I don't know if this audience is much more receptive or something else, but it's something I noticed. But more recently, they still use it on Diablo 4, for example. And the reason for those is pretty simple. You are endorsed by someone that is known, it make it seem like the normal people every day know the game, and it's just really simple. But now you're gonna tell me, those are little things. That doesn't explain why people stay fan to that company, and more importantly, keep buying the game, knowing that most likely the next game's not gonna be great. So now we are gonna talk about a psychological behavior that influence all of us in our everyday lives, but that is very relevant to what we are talking about today. And that is the sunk cost fallacy. In simple terms, the more you invest into something, being in time, money, or bits of your personality and ego, the more it will be hard to cut your loss and to leave that thing. You know many things in which the sunk cost fallacy actually plays a part. For example, I'm pretty sure you have seen someone in a relationship or yourself in a relationship where you know that relationship will most likely not go in a good direction, or even worse, is toxic or abusive, but you still try to make it work. You still do effort and can't leave it because, being consciously or unconsciously, you feel that you have done so much for that relationship, spent so much time that you can't let it go. It will be a waste. That's the sunk cost fallacy. It's really hard to let go of something you put in, even if it's bad to continue. It's also used, or at least seen in gamble. The more you put money, the more you are addicted, the harder it is to get out, because even if you know you should stop, even if you admitted that thing, well, if you stop now, you've lost all your money, all your friends, all your social connection for nothing. So you have to continue. That's the problem with the sunk cost fallacy. That psychological behavior prevents you to leave whatever you invested in. And the fucked up thing about it is that you're not exactly sure why. Your brain will always find, at least try to find, logical excuses to not leave whatever you invested in. That psychology come into play on World of Warcraft, especially because it's a game that's been out for 20 years, that most likely you have spent hours and hours on the game, with paying every game, every extension, every subscription. The amount of money you spend on it is most likely pretty huge. I've spent an enormous amount of time on it, made enormous amount of memory and built up nostalgia on it. Enormous amount of friends that are on it, that are left or not. And now, leaving all that, especially on an MMORPG, feel like if you leave now, if you give up on Blizzard and the game, you have done all this for nothing. It is wrong, because even stopping will not let go of your memory and the time you enjoyed back then on the game. But there is still that unconscious feeling of, I can't go on another MMORPG, I can't go on another game, because otherwise all I have done until now, I have done for nothing. I would like to point out that this doesn't actually work as much on content creators. Because now, not only they don't care as much about the money, obviously, but they find a way to build out something from the game that they can get on another game. There is a lot of creators, I'm sure, that started on WoW, but are now big even outside of it. So it's harder for them to care as much. Just keep that in mind for later. The sunk cost fallacy can also be seen in other MMORPGs, obviously. That's why, actually, they are the communities that are the most aggressively defensive about their game. Because if you critique their game, you critique their choice, and you critique all the investment they did until now about the game. For example, one of the most known communities to be aggressive is FF14, between the mix of the investment and the sense of niche belonging to that community. They become very defensive about it. It's not because they are especially mean, it's because it's especially important to them. The only reason that that feeling is most likely stronger in the WoW and Blizzard community, the feeling of not being able to let go of the hope, to let go of that company, the feeling that the sunk cost is stronger, is most likely because the game, especially most World of Warcraft, for fuck's sake, is out since 20 years. It's been 20 years of investment in money, 20 years of time played, 20 years of people known there, and 20 years of content consumer around it. That's a lot of personality, a lot of lifetime invested in it. That's why it's so hard for people to let go of the hope of the game being better, the hope of the next Overwatch, the next Diablo, the next Warcraft to be good. Now, you can feel like it's not really a problem. Like, is it really a problem if I buy and play their games even though I don't get the worth of my money, I don't play a lot or have much fun? I'm too lazy to go on something else. Well, it's not a problem. If you're fine with the quality of the game now, and you're fine with it getting worse later, it's not a problem. You can continue playing all you want. But keep in mind that Blizzard has already a tendency to waste your time on purpose, to make feature in the game, to turn the game in a way that make you play the most of time possible with the less content possible, with the less fun possible, sadly. If you reward that, if you pay for that, to them it works.
And we just launched Diablo 4, which is the most successful launch we've had of a Blizzard title ever.
They should do that and improve on that. Not improving for you, but improving for them, meaning still less and less good content, less and less effort for the most of your time, to steal the most of your time, and to make you pay the most possible. That's their philosophy now. So even if you're fine with the game now, since you see the trend that it's worse and worse, you should keep that in mind. Not only that, but you have to keep in mind, it's not all studios and developers that do things like that. That's copium. There is a lot of developers now, a lot of good games, where the philosophy is gameplay first or is customer very important, where you are not an algorithm, where there is not representation chart, and it's more about making sure you like the game and you want to come back. Not to stay stuck in it, but to come back. It's a big difference. Okay, let's make something adamantly clear though. If Blizzard and Activision made an actual good game that respect my time, my money, I would love to buy and play it. This is not a video about is Blizzard Activision good or evil. I don't fucking care. What I care about is, do they give me a new experience that I will not get somewhere else, or a quality that I will not have somewhere else, and will I have fun with my friends on it? And it's been a very long while since those things didn't happen. I would say the last actual good new experience I got was Overwatch 1. And it's been a freaking long time. Even before that, you can even extend that time long for a long while. So yeah, I do want them to do a game to the quality and the care for their players that they did before. But it's not been the case since a while. We can't be on Compium for, well, we already did for a decade, so we can't do it for 50 years, right? People need to move on and try other things. That's the only way you will have the game you want. Either because you want a classic experience that is pristine, or you want World of Warcraft 2, or something alike to that, or if you want the next survival game to not be absolute garbage. You need to put your money where your desire is. If you put your money on bad game, they will continue to do bad game. It's also important to remember that if you want really good game of the year level, like Baldur's Gate 3 or even Elden Ring, you need the people that take their chances on previous game of Larian Studios. Demon Souls, basically, that are quiet niche, but they, because of the investment of those players, because they tried, because they put their money on something new and worth it, and not something that continues to be bad, that's the reason that you get at the end the masterpiece of Elden Ring and Baldur's Gate. Taking your chances on niche game like that not only give you new experience, but also make you invest maybe on the future of that experience. And it's pretty important as a gamer if you want to have new things, new good things. Now, even with all we talk about, we still didn't talk about microtransaction. And the reason is that everybody needs to remind themselves that even without the microtransaction and the predatory way that Activision Blizzard use them, their games are still mediocre and subpar compared to the competition. They are still less innovative than the competition. But it's still interesting to talk about because of two reasons. First, they are battle passes. They fell in love with them, and now you see them in every of their game, no exception. No, I'm exaggerating actually, but many of their game. And the reason is very simple. The essence of a battle pass is the same philosophy that Blizzard Activision use since years on their modern games. What I mean by that is a battle pass in essence make you want to play the game artificially. It's not to play the game, it's to make sure your investment is worth. You don't lose your investment. What I mean by that is if you invest in the battle pass of the game, you commit to playing and finishing that battle pass. Otherwise, you lose the investment you did before. The same way the sunk cost fallacy work. If you buy the battle pass and don't finish it, well, you did all that for nothing. Even worse, if you have bought multiple battle pass and you stop the game now and miss the next one, well, all you did before, forcing yourself to finish the battle pass, forcing you to make menial tasks to level battle pass, because to be honest, usually to level battle pass it's not the funnest part of the game, well, you will have lost everything you did before, and maybe possible things in the future if the game finished by being good. Once again, it makes you want to play the game not because it's good, but because one, you will miss out, or two, worse, you will lose out all the investment you did before. It's made to keep you playing the game and keep you investing in the game, so it's harder for you to leave. And the icing on the cake for them, obviously, is that you don't have the time or the feeling to want to try another game of that genre. Because you invested so much in this one and you can't quit or you will lose out on something, you won't try the competition. You won't try other games properly. The other big problem that come out in especially Blizzard games is when they take out cosmetic that obviously should be a reward of the gameplay, a reward of a boss, a dungeon, or whatever achievement should be. They are removing quality content of the game to to make it an outside part of it that you need to pay extra. Meaning that it's actually not part of the gameplay anymore. It's just actually putting the gameplay last now. Because you have less things to do for less rewards, but they find artificial way to keep you on the game, and you are still buying their extension, you're still paying your subscription, you're still paying for the battle pass, or paying for microtransaction. So they actually don't care so much about the game being less good, since you're paying more anyway and you keep staying in the game. Because once again, if you quit now, all you have done so far will be for nothing in your head. That's not actually true. The problem is that you're paying today to make the game of tomorrow worse. Because if you buy their microtransaction, if you buy even the battle pass, it most likely means that their next survival games will be infested with microtransaction. Not only that, but that many of what you should have won in game, in that survival game, will be in the shop or the battle pass. And those battle pass, those microtransactions, will be part of the fact that even if the game is bad, if you start investing in it, you will be stuck longer in that game that you should be. If you're one of those people that want a WoW 2, an actual Overwatch 2, or something like that, do you actually want the current developers to do them? The current developer that you are training by still buying their games to make worse games. If you want WoW 2, Overwatch 2, Diablo 5, or whatever to be good, you need to stop rewarding them for bad work. Now, before finishing this video, you're gonna say, well, it's cool and all, but what can I do about it? Or can I not waste my money or my investment, but still hope for them to do a better game? The answer that I will give you will be for average income people and not content creator and influencer. Those people do not care about the money they pay or get back the money they pay for playing early, for playing without caring, even if it be bad. They are not the average experience. Well, first, stop pre-ordering their game before you tasted it. There is usually a beta, an open beta, you can try it. And like you should have, Diablo 4 was evidently lacking novelty. There is nothing specially new or good features on that game, and it was visible since the beginning. 2. You don't need to pay $20 to play 3 days earlier. You're most likely not a top 100, you're most likely not competitive at the game, you and your friends can wait 3 days, 1 week, or 2 weeks to see if the end game is good, if playing this game for many hours is worth your money and time investment. You can wait, it's gonna be fine. All of us, we can wait. If the game is good, it's still gonna be good in 3 days, it's still gonna be good in 1 week, it's still gonna be good in 3 weeks. If it's not, then it's most likely not worth 60, 90, or $120, without talking about battle passes and microtransactions. The second trick is most likely for average income, like me. Basically, what you do is you set a value to each hour of fun in a game. For me, it's basically €1 or $1 for each hour. So what you do is before buying the game, you really think, am I sure I will spend $60 for 60 hours of fun? Not menial tasks, not chores, fun. If you're not sure about that, wait. If you are sure it's not gonna be 60 hours, don't buy it. There is other game that will. That value can be very different for you. Each people can put this value depending on their income. But just by keeping that in mind, you will avoid a lot of waste, being in money or time. And lastly, your best bet is to do exactly what Activision Blizzard is trying so hard for you not to do. It's to try other game, buy other game, spend a lot of time on other games. You will have new experience that Activision Blizzard can't give you, so far at least, don't want to give you. And you will have new memories, meet new people, and you will gain that liberty, that fluidity to be able to switch between games as you want. Not only that, but it will also, if you stop always buying their games without thinking if it's good or bad, just with the hope it will, they will actually need to make their game good and better than the competition. Contrary to now, or when they just do a game good enough, people buy it. If you feel like you can't go on another game, or it's a big task because you missed out on the battle passes, on cosmetic, or you will need to invest a lot of time, you're late, know that it's not true for most games. The biggest company to do that feeling of investment in Blizzard Activision. There is a lot of companies that are much more chill with their microtransaction, that you much more chill in the missing out content. I can cite like Warframe, PoE, Guild Wars 2, New World, Albion. There is a lot of games that are more chill with the microtransaction and feeling of missing out. If it's needed, I can make a video about other developers that are more chill on their microtransaction with great games that are good replacement and good upgrades compared to Blizzard games. If you think I forgot something or disagree with the point I made, I invite you to come down below on the Discord or the Reddit so I can see your point of view and see the difference. I hope you enjoyed the video and come back soon.